All right, guys, we're back. It's been a while. It feels like it's been a while since we did like some myth busting, some BS busting. Probably not. I probably did it like 2 days ago, but I don't know. It feels like a while for me. This week's fodder was provided to us by Max, and I'm gonna mispronounce his last name because I've never heard it spoken, so I apologize ahead of time. Max Legouvier, I think. I'm sure I screwed that up, and I apologize to Max because he actually seems like a nice fellow. Somebody's welcome to comment below and tell me how it's phonetically spelled. So Max put up a post that was a study looking at people who skipped breakfast or didn't skip breakfast and exercised. There was a third group of people who ate breakfast and didn't exercise at all, but they're not super relevant to what we're going to talk about. And Max put up a post saying, hey, look at this study. And you can see right here what exactly he posted. But basically says, look at this study. This kind of goes against the people who say that there's no benefit to fasted cardio. As you can see, people who fasted had a greater 24-hour energy deficit and better fat oxidation. I don't know Max's intentions. After I posted about this on Instagram, he amended his original post, so kudos to him. So I don't know if his intentions were to purposely misrepresent the study, or if he just misinterpreted it, or if he just only told half the story. Who knows? So I'm not trying to figure out what his intentions were. Like I said, he was nice to me, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But this is a perfect case of why it's really important to understand the whole story before you make claims. So yes, when they compared two groups, exercise, fasted versus fed, they found that the people who were fasted had a greater 24-hour net negative energy balance. Okay. Now, if you go actually look at the study results, this was because they simply ate less. Okay, so as you can see here in this figure, there's the people who fasted from breakfast just ate less over 24 hours. It was completely explained by the difference in calorie intake during their breakfast. In fact, you can see here their 24-hour energy expenditure was not different between the groups, meaning that there's no inherent fat-burning property to fasted exercise. Now, what does this mean for you? Well, for you, if you are somebody who prefers to train fasted and you find that you're able to do that and it's a way for you to control calories, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I would say that skipping breakfast probably isn't the most optimal thing to do if you're trying to optimize your muscle mass. But if you're doing it as a way to lose fat and create a caloric deficit, then that's probably fine. Now, I want to point out that this was only done over a single day, over 24 hours. People are extrapolating this to say, well, if you skip breakfast, it doesn't impact your hunger because these people didn't compensate by eating more later in the day. That's only one day. You really can't make that claim because if you look at the data, like we talked about last week on intermittent fasting, it actually, some studies show that people who intermittent fast actually have greater indices of hunger as opposed to people who don't. My take on this, it's a very individualized thing. There are some people who can intermittent fast. They don't get hungry. They feel great on it. By all means, do that. Some people love keto, feel like they don't get hungry on keto. They can sustain it. They can stick to it. That's great. Do that. Other people, like myself, we kind of distribute our meals evenly. Works for us. We feel fine. If I try to do intermittent fasting, I would be very hungry because I love breakfast. It's fine to do what works for you. This is where everyone is different comes into play, not so much physiologically, but psychologically in terms of what works for you and what trips your algorithm of compliance, okay? And when you find that thing that works for you, for me it was flexible dieting, for you it might be something else. But when you find that thing that works for you, people tend to get very zealous about it because they enjoy it. And I was that way with flexible dieting for a long time. Now I just kind of look at it as a tool like all these other tools. It was for me, maybe not be for you. Intermittent fasting may be for you. Ketogenic diet may be for you. whatever you like. Although you can still technically do flexible dieting with all those other diets. The one other claim I want to talk about is that fasted exercise improves fat oxidation. Yes. You burn more fat during the actual exercise if you are fasted. That does not mean you lose more body fat, because body fat is the balance between storage and oxidation. So what happens if you take two people and look at them over a 24-hour period, somebody who is fasted during exercise versus somebody who's fed? If you keep calories consistent between the two, calories and macros consistent between the two, all other things equal, what you find is that people who burn more fat during exercise, they actually burn more carbohydrate throughout the rest of the day and burn less fat throughout the rest of the day. Somebody who eats before exercise, they burn more carbohydrate during exercise, but then they burn more fat during the rest of the day. The net overall difference on fat balance and body fat loss is nothing. And Brad Schoenfeld actually showed this. I believe it was a systematic review of the data on fasted exercise. Showed that there was no difference when calories were equated on a 24-hour period, fasting exercise versus non-fasted exercise. That's great news for you guys. That means do what works for you. Just don't claim it to be magic. Fasted exercise is not magic, but it might be a tool for you if it helps with your compliance and controlling your calories. Okay guys, that's it for this week. If you haven't noticed, I'm wearing our new YOLO t-shirt. You're only lean once. If you're interested in this, go click the link below. We have done a limited run of these. There's only 100. Stop by, get yours now. Also, if you want to learn more about the science of fat loss, check out our books and ebooks. Click the link below. Like our shit, share our shit, buy our shit. Thanks guys, I'm out.